everyone, welcome to this week's Icehouse podcast. It's Bryar Stewart, the community manager, and today I'm with Nick McDonald here in Tauranga. Nice to do a face-to-face conversation. Nick is the founder and head honcho at Likeable Labs. Really looking forward to unpacking Nick's journey, his business journey, and what Likeable Labs looks like now, because I understand there's a bit of a relaunch, which is I'm excited to sort of dive into. But first of all, Nick, I would love to start with some quick fire questions. All good?
Great, sounds good.
Nice. Okay, first one, coffee order.
Americano.
Nice. Morning or night person?
Morning.
When are you most relaxed?
When I'm fishing.
When are you reading, what are you reading or listening to right now?
I've just started reading Scaling Up by Honcho.
Is it good?
Early days, but I've heard good things, so that's why I'm reading it.
Cool. Were you born with your strengths or have you developed them?
That is a tough one. I'm going to say developed.
Cool. First ever job?
KFC delivery driver.
Love it. Favourite place in the world?
London is my favourite place in the world.
Cool. Great answers. Nice. Well, it's a good way to sort of start things off, and now we're going to kick into some of the key questions. This one's nice and open, so answer how you want. Tell us a bit about yourself. Who is Nick McDonald?
Yeah, sure. So I'm 42 years old. I'm a father of 2 boys. Married to my wife of about 11 years, I think, but
Awesome.
Been together for a lot longer. And yeah, businessman, fisherman. Fishing is probably my key thing I do in my spare time. Not enough of that lately. Try to be a good dad, try to be a good husband, try to be a good businessman, try to catch some fish as well.
Awesome.
Don't have much time for keeping fit. That's another thing I try to do and should be doing more of. I think a lot of people, a lot of business owners are probably in a very similar category.
Yeah, I'm sure lots are listening and going, I can kind of relate to that. Yeah.
I've had conversations with people at the Icehouse recently about trying to do all of those things well. It can be a struggle, but hey, we've all got the same struggles.
Yeah, completely agree. Yeah, that's one thing I've learned through doing these podcasts is just what we all can relate on, and what some of the similar challenges and wins that doesn't matter what industry we're in. Some of the challenges can be the same, which is interesting. Would love to hear a bit about your career journey, what that looks like, and then about your business now.
Yeah, sure. So I'll dial it back. So I moved to London when I was 19. So I grew up in Hamilton, moved to London at 19. It was kind of boom time, 99, early 2000s. Got the tech boom and then bust, but got jobs easy, mainly worked in finance and did really well. Made a lot of money just working and worked my way up to some half decent jobs. But during that journey I started to trade the markets on the side, and I was trading financial markets, trading stocks, foreign exchange, commodities. And I don't know why, but I was good at it. I don't know why. And I use the analogy of if 1,000 people picked up a set of golf clubs, there'd be 1 or 2 people who are annoyingly good. And I'm terrible at golf, and I'm not that person that's good at that. I'm annoyingly bad. But at trading the markets, which is similarly difficult, I was good for some reason. I can't explain why.
Wow.
But that led to me starting to teach people how to trade, which led to me starting a business called Trade with Precision. And Trade with Precision, we now still going. That's 16 years later. So I started that in around about 2006 officially. So I quit working for anyone else in 2004. Traded the markets just full time for a few years. By 2006, I was teaching people to trade the markets. And then brokerages and exchanges started saying, can you teach our clients how to trade? The industry itself, there's a lot of people selling financial freedom and selling bullshit, basically. So they have bad reputations, but we had a good reputation. We told the truth. We said trading's hard. It's like any other profession, but if you put the effort in, you can get good at it, and we'll teach you how to do that. So we had a good reputation, and brokerages and exchanges, big international companies, were asking us to teach their clients what we did, or started off with what I did. So that's now led to what we call outsourced education, and we do webinars, videos, blogs, ebooks, etc. Under the name of Trade with Precision. So I've actually got 2 businesses.
Oh wow!
And that's kind of what we do, online content. But if I kind of get to how the Likeable Lab came out of that, so from 2006 to 2016, which is about when I did the owner manager program. We'd grown that business into quite a good business. It had grown most of that 10 years. But in 2006, webinars and videos and blogs were quite innovative, and we rocked into these big companies going, hey, you should be doing these things, and they were going, yeah, okay, like if you can do it, let's do it. Fast forward 10 years to 2016, and we had a lot more competition, a lot more people were doing it. That's when I did the owner manager program. And yeah, one of the key things I got out of that was that social media is where because we were doing some social media for those clients by that stage,
right,
but only for finance clients.
Yeah.
And what I got, well, one of the things I got from OMP was that, hey, your big opportunity is in social media and doing this for other companies, not just in the finance space. So now, and you know, made a few acquisitions, and there's probably a little bit more to the story that we might get into. But yeah, made some acquisitions along the way, have grown now another brand, being Likeable Lab, no S by the way, not labs, lab.
Likeable Lab.
And grown Likeable Lab into an even bigger business than Trade with Precision. And yeah, we're now more than a social media agency, we're a digital marketing agency. And we have clients from all walks of life. You know, finance being some of our bigger clients, but we have many other big clients that are in completely different spaces. And the key thing now is if we understand your business and where your clients hang out, then we can normally help you do well online for digital marketing.
That's brilliant. So interesting. I didn't realise you had the two. How big are your teams in each business?
It's around about 30 together.
Yeah.
That would be around about 20 on Likeable Lab, or probably a little bit more than that. Early to mid 20s on Likeable Lab. And then Trade with Precision, we have a lot of contractors, so it's kind of full-time equivalent. It's probably in the region of 30, but we have a lot of contractors who just have to turn up and present that webinar or write that ebook or present that video. So we have a team around the world. We have to have multiple accents and multiple time zones, and we hire those people based on their skill as a trader and a presenter, as compared to anything else.
So what would your day or week going a bit off script, but breakdown look like for balancing the two businesses from your end?
It's interesting because if you asked me this time last year, it would have been 99% Likeable Lab. But I had a general manager who was based in Australia for Trade with Precision, and he actually resigned late last year. So that changed a lot for me in terms of that split. He'd been there for about 10 years.
Wow.
So he left to do his MBA, and he also left because I was so focused on Likeable Lab, and he kind of decided, hey, time to move on. But the great thing is I now have an operations manager for Trade with Precision that's based here in Tauranga, which makes a big difference in terms of us getting stuff done and working on it together. She's brilliant, and probably still not spending more than say 10% of my time on Trade with Precision, but probably in the region of 5 to 15, let's say, on Trade with Precision, and the rest very much on Likeable Lab. That will change going forward now with borders open, because the key thing I do for TWP or Trade with Precision is travel, go and see clients, go and see staff internationally, grow the business internationally. So that'll flip right back to a lot more time spent there soon as I start to travel. I've got my first trip coming up, Sydney, Melbourne, and then I'll have to go London, Singapore, San Fran, Chicago, all the places I used to go every year. Just haven't been for a long time.
Are you excited about doing that?
Yes and no. If they're listening, then yes. It's just travel I did so much of it for so long that it wasn't really a highlight anymore. I love it. Like I said before, my favourite place is London, so I love going back there and seeing the team, and I lived there for a big chunk of my adult life.
Totally.
So I do love that. It just feels a little bit like when you haven't been to the gym for a long time and you have to work yourself back up. I haven't travelled for a long time, so just working myself back up. But I think I'll enjoy it again once I get out there.
That's so great. I love that. What's one thing you wish you had known when you began your career in business?
It's okay to make mistakes. A lot of people go out there trying to be perfect, especially early on, and I guess I learned quickly in trading financial markets, you're wrong all the time. You just got to be right more than you're wrong to be successful. And it's not too dissimilar in business. You just got to be open enough to admit to your mistakes and learn from your mistakes. And I find that even with clients, if we make a mistake, we fess up, we say what we've learned, we say what we'll do about it. And that's normally fine. If you hide from them, then they're not such a good thing. Likewise, hiring A players. I've got a lot of A players on my team, and just the impact that they have is brilliant. So as soon as you can afford them, one A player is often worth 2 or 3 C players, for example. So the sooner you can afford to hire A players, do so.
Have you worked out what an A player is in the hiring process?
I don't think I know in the hiring process, no.
Yeah.
You get an idea,
Yeah.
but you get a strong inkling, and often it's how in demand they are and how much they value themselves as well during that process. But no, I will not say that I get it right every time.
Yeah.
I will say that I've hired a lot of people now over 16 years or whatever it is, so you get better and better at it, but still make mistakes for sure.
Of course, it's so interesting. What's been one of your biggest challenges, and what did you learn from it?
I think even now, I'm probably still going through one of my biggest challenges, and that is growth and just investing profits, I guess, like sacrificing profits, probably more than investing them or sacrificing them, kind of the same thing, in order to grow. We have gone through many periods on Trade with Precision and Likeable Lab where we're just growing at a nice, steady organic pace, which has been fine, but now we're on a mission to grow faster and to grow bigger and to do something, just to put ourselves in a different league, in a different category, and it does take quite a lot of money to do so. You can't keep on churning through the same profits as we were before while reinvesting. We have to hire ahead. We're a service business, so we have to hire ahead a lot, which means even now, we're hiring people we don't need, but we're hiring them so that we can handle the growth we've got coming. Otherwise, we put too much pressure on the current team. It's a constant balancing act, getting it right. And I know that many OMP listeners have been through bigger growth, and it's a similar thing. But we're choosing to grow faster now for the first time, and that is both exciting and challenging at the same time.
Totally. How do you, as a founder type personality, how do you deal with the in-between of what you want, you've got that feeling of it's an arm's reach sort of, but you're not quite there yet, the internal battle in your mind, I've heard from other business owners, can be hard going. I want to be there, but I'm not there yet. Have you found any practical ways, or just ways in general, to just be okay with the now?
I think I'm okay with it. I mean, I am impatient as well, but also
I feel like most business owners.
One of my favourite quotes is from Tony Robbins, and it's most people overestimate what they can achieve in a year and underestimate what they can achieve in a decade.
Like that.
And I remember doing actually a Tony Robbins course. That was in 2004, just before I quit my job. But at this course, he gets you to write down your 10-year goals. And I wrote down these 10-year goals, which at the time I thought were extraordinary. If I ever achieved these, I'd be such a big success. And then about 8 years later, when I'd moved back to New Zealand, I found that book where I'd written those goals down, and I just opened it up and I was like, wow, I read those 10-year goals and they seemed insignificant, they seemed small.
Wow.
And I think that little perspective, if I never found them again, I wouldn't have realised how much you can achieve in 10 years. And I encourage my staff, my team, to write down 10-year goals, because even as a business, we can write down these 1-year goals, and normally you way overestimate what you can achieve. But if you give yourself a 10 or even a 5-year perspective, which I do think I'm better at now. So yes, I'm impatient. Yes, I can see it. Yes, I want to grab it like you described. But I think I've got a bit better at being happy with where I'm at as well.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, great answer. Nice. What's been a highlight of your business journey?
I made a couple of acquisitions. So I made a small one. Actually, we used to be, because we were Trade with Precision, and then we started doing social media, so we really boringly called ourselves Social with Precision. But then I brought a local Tauranga social media agency called Likeable. So we rebranded that Likeable, after acquiring it, rebranded it Likeable Lab, because we had to be .com. Likeable.com was already taken, so likeablelab.com, and that's where the name was born. That was a small acquisition. Then we made another one of a business called Lead Social in Hamilton, which we've also now merged into Likeable Lab. So making a couple of acquisitions and each one getting bigger has been good, and probably will make more in the future.
Right.
But also, a real highlight. It's interesting. We've only just done it, but our rebrand you mentioned earlier that we've just kind of relaunched or we've rebranded. And that's just more we were known as a social media agency, and the old Likeable Lab website, only 2 weeks ago was very much, you went there and we looked like a social media agency. Now, if you go to likeablelab.com, you should see these guys are a digital marketing agency. We can do your website, your video, your photography, your Google ads, your all sorts of other things that are not just social. So social's still a specialty, and it's kind of our roots, our foundation, but we do so much more. And that rebrand is probably the biggest single project we've done. even just getting the values and the purpose and everything aligned with our current team, and then the branding and the journey we went on with our team to make that us, it's who we are, and it reflects where we're going and our personality, and that's been really exciting. Like even when we started, I never thought that a rebrand kind of did that much. It's like, we're growing so fast anyway, who cares how it looks? But now having been through it and realizing, wow, a rebrand it just makes it us and the teams united and excited. And I'm more excited than ever about our potential, somewhat largely because of that rebrand and how it positions us now.
So great. How long did it take? When did you start thinking, cool, it's rebrand time?
We decided that when we brought Lead Social, so we were Likeable Lab and we had an older team, and then we brought Lead Social and it was a really young team. And bringing those two together was more challenging than I thought. And then of course when we went to actually change the name of Lead Social, some of those people kind of felt like it's just the oldies over there at Likeable Lab kind of get in their way. And they just had an affinity to Lead Social. But the compromise was that we're going to call ourselves Likeable Lab, and that was my brand and the one I started, and I wasn't likely to take someone else's name. However, part of that compromise or part of the conversation with all of us was, let's rebrand Likeable Lab, let's create something that we're all really proud of together. Let's create that together. Let's do it ourselves. We've never done a rebrand project to anywhere near that extent. We do rebrands, but normally smaller ones. That puts us in a position where we can do bigger ones now because we've done it for ourselves. And I think the team's done a brilliant job. We've got all the right people, creatives and copywriters and all the experts, website designers, developers, so we can do it all ourselves. But how long did it take? It took about 10 months, I think, from the very first concepts where we actually pulled those out recently, when we rebranded, I think last week, but we pulled out the old initial concepts and figured it was about 10 months that it took us from start to finish. Of course, we thought it would take a lot less. We thought it would take 4 months or so. I think these things take longer anyway, and also we've always got clients we have to prioritise. So there was many other client projects that were part of the delay, and also just us trying to get better and better and better and just make it better also meant it just took longer to get done.
Yeah, of course. No, it's interesting insight.
And it's still not done.
Yeah, interesting.
Like it's launched, but it's not done. There's little things today that I think, that needs to be better. Like my email signature hasn't even changed, and we've got to get car apps done, we've got to change signage, we've got all sorts of things we've got to do. So when I say it's done, the public can see it, our website is live. But even the website's got a big list of things it's got to make better.
As always after a first launch, totally. Interesting, very cool. What's a common myth about your industry that you want to debunk?
That's a good question. One I keep on hearing currently is that Facebook is dead. Really isn't. There's it's still the behemoth, it's still the biggest by far. It might not be where some people that are saying that choose to log on and spend their time, but there's a good chance that some of the places you are logging on and spending your time, like Messenger or WhatsApp or Instagram, are owned by Facebook anyway.
So true,
Facebook's done an exceptional job of copying TikTok and bringing Reels onto Instagram, and buying and developing other businesses in order to grow, and now their move into the metaverse I find quite interesting and exciting. So Facebook is not dead. It's still a good place to be advertising for most businesses. Another I'd say is just I guess it's a mistake that we see people make so often, and that is probably more of a social media mistake. But they go and invest a lot of money in good content, but they don't spend money on ads to distribute that content, to get it in front of the right people. So there's the odd exception where content on its own is enough, but for the most part, especially a service business or a B2B business, or even most FMCG businesses, if you're really selling something, you need ads as well as content. So you need good content, but then an ad strategy to distribute that content to people. If you just have content, then that you're just missing an opportunity then to reach a whole lot more people with that content by using ads to show that to more people.
Absolutely. That's absolute gold for someone listening in the business world, for sure. Awesome. I'd love to hear when you first heard of the Icehouse and about the Owner Manager program.
It's funny, I heard lots of little snippets. Like there was what's her name with the shoe brand? Is it Catherine Wilson?
Yeah, that's right.
I heard her public speaking one day at an event, and she mentioned it. But there's other little things like that where people I just kept on hearing these good things. A friend of mine then did the course, and he's more of like a trained CEO, and I thought, well, if he's a CEO, then if he says it's good, it's going to be really good, because CEOs, I guess, what I mean by that is most of us that have done OMP have either brought it or inherited it or founded it, and we're more entrepreneurs. This guy's like more of a trained CEO, and I thought, well, if he says it's good, he's more management trained than most people that do it, then it's going to be really good. And he said it was good too. And then actually it was Andy Hamilton, an old CEO from the Icehouse. So I think I asked him for a favour one day, and he said, I'll do that favour for you, but enough beating around the bush. If I do that favour for you, then you come and actually finally commit to doing OMP. So
awesome.
So I did, and I think it was 2016, it was thereabouts, so it was OMP 40, whatever that is.
Nice.
And yeah, been involved ever since. Actually, another way I heard, I think I did, because I think I was involved with Ice Angels and then Ice Ventures before OMP.
Cool.
People checking the actual timings on that, I could be slightly, I'm bad with remembering my timings, but I made some investments with Ice Angels and Ice Ventures. And I probably started to hear of the Icehouse around there, and met people like Robbie and Andy through that route as well. So I was kind of around before Andy convinced me to do it.
Awesome, that's so cool. Yeah, it's normally a few touch points with that sort of thing, which is cool. Nice. What changes have you implemented into your business, but also your lifestyle, since the Owner Manager program?
Probably not enough into my lifestyle, to be honest. That is something I need to focus on now. And actually, it's a cool thing having a younger team. They often push me and encourage me in terms of, hey, like, you know, I don't know, looking after yourself a bit better, having a bit more balance.
Yeah, cool.
But I also love working. Like, there was a time around doing the Icehouse, doing OMP, that I was kind of almost semi-retired in terms of I just had Trade with Precision. It was going really well. I had a board. I had a good GM. Didn't really, semi-retired as in I didn't have to work very hard, but I was also so bored. I had so much time, so much balance, but I was so bored. So one of the things I realised after doing it was I love the challenge, and I need to be doing stuff. I need to be doing it, and I love it. So I love what I'm doing.
Great.
But yeah, balance-wise and lifestyle-wise, I probably haven't implemented enough. Business-wise, probably a big thing I learnt was around values and purpose, and getting those really, really clear. We've probably done 3 different exercises, kind of refining, especially through making acquisitions. We've kind of refined rather than just going, here's our values. It's more like, what can we take from yours and how do we merge those two? So we've adapted that, but getting those values right and hiring and firing based on values has been a big thing. One of the things I really learned, from all the different speakers that came along, and almost all that came and spoke around growing much bigger businesses, one thing they really did have in common was getting the values right, getting the values right early. So that's been a biggie. The biggest probably change after doing it was that opportunity I mentioned earlier of, hey, you've got this good business called Trade with Precision, and at the time a few social media clients, but there was this big opportunity in it on social media, and it kind of came from even people in the room going, hey, do you reckon you could do that for us? And my answer was no, but then it started to, people were going, why not? Like, if you're good at that, why just finance companies? Why can't you do that for us too? So we started kind of saying yes, not so much at that OMP course, but soon after. Like, I don't think anyone on that course was a client, but if I was saying yes, they probably would have been. So it was just more a case of
thinking.
And then we started, like, a mate that's got a boat charter. He said, can you do it for me? I said, yeah, okay, we'll give it a shot. Kind of low risk. Yeah, I'll help you out. And then it was a software company, and then real estate agents, and then just all sorts.
Brilliant.
Now it's, if we understand the business and understand where your clients hang out, then we can probably help.
That's a great fit. Wow, that's cool. Love hearing that. How would you sum up your experience overall? And you've been out of the program as such for a bit now. What's sort of stuck around with you, and sum up your experience on the Owner Manager program?
Yeah, I'm unashamedly a big fan. I speak at OMPs now, so I've been fortunate enough to get invited back, and hopefully keep on getting invited for quite some time, because I love doing it.
Awesome.
So I've just spoken at one last week. I'm speaking at 2 or 3 more coming up, kind of catching up on the COVID ones that we missed.
Yes, that's right. Cool.
I do OMX each year, which is which I think actually not enough OMP people know about. Like, you should be telling more people about that. OMX is great, and I'll tell anyone who listens. In fact, I often find myself saying, I promise I'm not on commission. I just love it. I'm just a big fan, and I tell other OMP people that they should be doing OMX and getting off it. And yeah, that's just a great place to rub shoulders with a whole bunch of other people, again, in a similar position, to talk about your battle scars and your stories and your growth and your challenges. And I find that at OMX there's some of the, I don't know if they're the biggest, but they seem like some very big Icehouse success stories that go every year, and if it's good enough for them, then hey, it's good enough for most of us, and you get to rub shoulders with those people and talk to them and get their advice. So I'm a big fan. Again, even Ice Ventures, I'm a big fan, and I've made a number of investments there, which is another area of the Icehouse that I'm fond of. So I'm kind of involved from many angles: speaking, doing OMP, going back to OMX, putting my stuff on LDP, investing via ventures. Just big fan of what the Icehouse does, and find myself telling people often. And again, telling people, I promise I'm not on commissions, but it sometimes sounds like I am. I'm just a fan, and I'll tell people that. I'll tell anyone that asks that I am.
That's so cool. It's music to our ears, but yeah, you're right. There's so many ways to stay connected in the community, and I feel like you've got multiple touch points of that connection.
Yeah.
And then there's some that haven't found their thing yet, and so OMX is a cool one to highlight actually, because it's a really great way to keep connected and meet other people within the community and network. So I love that.
And it's also good because tends to be a crew that go back each time, so you kind of get to know a bunch of the people quite well. And then there's other people that are going for the first time, so you always get to meet new people as well. So I love it.
And there's normally some great places like Queenstown or whatever involved, which is always fun too.
Always fun.
Nice. Who's one person that's been really influential in your business journey?
Yeah, this question's really hard because there's been so many. Like if I went back to Trade with Precision, I'd have a different answer to if I focus now on Likeable Lab and where our biggest growth opportunity is. But there has been so many, both on the payroll, off the payroll, friends, little snippets of advice.
Yeah.
From an Icehouse perspective, David Irvine was like he wouldn't even know. I doubt he'd know who I am. I actually tried to catch him last week at Icehouse conference and didn't actually get to talk to him. But he was the one who was my mentor, like on OMP on that final session. You have those kind of mentors that look at your business plan. And it was him. It wasn't so much that social media, I think there might have been someone else that kind of, or a collective thing on OMP that helped me realise that social media / now digital marketing was my biggest opportunity. But it was David, just one liner of advice that was worth all the money for me, which was, first he asked the question of why is your business here, and if you imagine my hand somewhere in front of me and not up here, and then my hand right up higher, like, why is your business not there? And I had all the excuses in the world, but the main one was just because I'm comfortable. Like I'm there and I've got a good business and I make enough money and I don't need to make much more, and and I don't even have to work that hard. And he said, you don't need the money, you need the challenge.
Wow.
And that was the gold. That was the money for me, because then I went, fuck, that's it. I'm not being greedy. I'm not. It's not about making Nick millions of dollars. It's about I need the challenge, or else I'm bored. And I was really bored at the time, and he just helped me realize you just need the challenge of getting there.
Wow.
And that was worth all the money for me.
Wow, isn't that so special? Yeah, David's impacted many along the journey. First of all, founding the Icehouse, which is an incredible first step and leap of faith if you've heard that story. But also, the people that he's been able to speak to and drop some gold in, and then they can carry on, and it changes their lives essentially, right? Yeah.
Absolutely, it's changed mine. And then again, there's so many others. So kind of saying him from an Icehouse perspective, but that was a big, and put me off in a very different direction than maybe I would have been if not doing that course and not getting that piece of advice, and just that realization of like, holy shit, he's right. Yeah. It's like, I need the challenge.
Yeah, totally.
It's big.
Yeah. Where is a good place to start for business owners wanting to improve their digital presence? It's a big one, because I feel like a lot of people can get a bit overwhelmed by digital, and just sometimes taking the first step is, the way that they can get it underway. Any advice there?
Yeah, I mean, and also I'll say it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
And you don't have to, like, there's some people come to us and go, hey, I'm getting all this advice around TikTok and all these things, and should I be doing it and am I missing out? And because actually sometimes that business is very traditional. We do visit our customers, we shake their hand, we show them our product, we sell them our product, they need our product. That stuff's not really going digital. And there's still things like, I don't know, speaking to someone at the Icehouse last week who sells parts for boats, they still need to go and see their clients, show them those parts, say why they're the best parts.
Yeah.
And they've already got most of the boat builders, and they've got to keep on showing their face and showing why they're the best. That's just one random example. But there's many clients that don't necessarily need major digital. Most do still need a good website. Most of those, even those traditional businesses, could do with still sharing content online, sharing case studies online, showing, using ads to show that good content to your current customers, keeping in mind, just before a competitor comes along and does that. But having a good website, having a good shop front, and in your digital space. If you're going to have most businesses do have like a LinkedIn and a Facebook and maybe a TikTok or an Instagram. If you're going to have them, they've got to be done well. So you can't just have them and ignore them. If you do, you might as well take them down and just not have them.
Yeah.
So you've got to have them, but basically try and figure out what return on investment is for your business would be my main advice. What is ROI from digital? Like, what am I actually looking for? Is it the phone to ring? Is it just brand awareness? Is it more customers talking about us? Is it people filling out a lead form? Is it an e-commerce business where we actually want sales off the back of it? But if you can figure out where your clients hang out, and if you can really define who your client is, and then we can go, we can find that demographic on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or wherever it may be. As long as we're confident we can find them, and you're confident that you're clear on what return on investment for you actually is, then the key thing is, cool, let's have a go and let's see if you can actually measure that return on investment. It should always be about that, and it's so different for different people. Like in the finance world, our clients do want a lead via something like a demo account or an ebook or a webinar attendee, and then they measure, does that lead go on to become a sale and actually open an account and actually transact with that brokerage. But other businesses, they come to us, like we've got an FMCG client and all they want is community management. Not all they want, we run ad campaigns and stuff too, but for them, community management done really well, engaging their customers, talking to them, having conversations with them, answering back as the brand, that for them is ROI, and that they need to do it. So that's ROI for them. Others, we've got plenty of e-commerce clients where it's a return on ad spend. If we're going to spend $1, we need whatever it is, $4 or $5 back. Some of our clients get a lot more than that back. It depends a lot on the industry and the niche. There's plenty that want leads. There's others that will say, hey, look, we just need social media done really well, and we believe if it's done really well that we will get more business, and that often works for them. But the key thing is, deciding what return on investment is. Where do your clients hang out? Because if we can't find them, there's no point wasting your time. But if we can find them and you can define ROI, then we can go about creating content for them. In fact, another little pointer there would be create content for your clients that adds value, not just content that you think is good or sales stuff. Don't sell to them. Like, they don't want to be sold to. They want good quality content and earn the right to sell.
Brilliant. Great answer. Lots there. What excites you about the future of your business?
Yeah, it excites me that whole challenge that we're on of we're trying to grow a bigger business. Like, we're breaking through barriers now, but they're still smallish barriers in the grand scheme of things. Big for us, but I'm inspired by some of the other businesses I meet via the Icehouse even, and just seeing what they do, and the barriers that they have broken through. So we've put a lot of focus on culture, team, the new branding, and making the team really feel a part of that new branding.
Right.
That excites me a lot in terms of where we're going now as a digital agency. Not that I know all of the digital agencies in New Zealand by any stretch, there's so many, but I feel like our ambitions are probably bigger than most. I won't say bigger than all, but we've got some big ones. We've got some big growth plans. Already our biggest client is Abu Dhabi, New York. We've got a big client in Melbourne.
Awesome.
And we've already got big international clients, and then we have we've got a whole bunch obviously in New Zealand as well, still been the lion's share of it, but we've got growth intentions, not just local, international as well. We plan on being the biggest and best in New Zealand first, but we're already evolving into overseas markets. Just feel like we've got big growth plans. We've got the structure and the business plan in place now to really be able to execute on that. We've got the team to be able to execute on that, and we've got some real A players, and we're attracting more, which is also exciting. So as we build our brand and as we put out our own good content, Even interestingly, just even as we rebranded and then put out some video content around the rebrand, like the number of A players now coming to me and knocking on my door and saying, hey, this is the kind of company I want to work for.
Right.
That's like super exciting. So we've got A players on our team and people that can execute on that plan, and there's more knocking on our door.
Brilliant.
And our plans are big, and it's just exciting seeing. It's just an exciting journey along the way, and we've built a great culture. It's it is our biggest asset. I wouldn't even say it's our people, it's our culture. They make up the people, the people make up the culture, but that's our biggest asset by a long shot, and it's something we'll protect fiercely and just makes it exciting for the future, because I feel like we've kind of got that right, and the people that are here believe we've got that right. It's always a work in progress. It's never perfect. We've got to maintain that, and that takes a lot of effort to maintain and grow and expand and just get even better in terms of culture. But it's exciting times with the team we've got and the plans we've got.
That's so cool. Lovely. Like, just a great answer and a really great conversation and interview, because I know lots of business owners and leaders can draw a lot from that conversation, and it's just really exciting to see where you're heading. And even being at Icehouse conference last week and chatting to some of your team, Kim and Phil, and having a really good chat about the shift from social to digital agency, and just seeing how excited they were around creating content, having that stream of video production and photography, and just what that meant to them. You could see it really just picked them up and gave them a big boost, and they loved being part of it, right? So exciting days ahead. I can't wait to see it unfold and the impact that you guys are going to have sort of nationally and internationally. So thanks so much, Nick, for being on the podcast.
Awesome. Thank you, Bryar. Great to be here.